Hey, everybody, welcome to today's speaker session for the Healthy Habits Summit. As I told you, what we are doing for these 5 days is talking to you all about how to create healthy habits over a gamut of issues. It's not just about fitness, it's just not just about nutrition. We want you to be as healthy as possible. And today's session is all about beauty. So we're going to talk about hair and skin. And right now, I have the wonderful, beautiful Gwen Jimmere to talk about health for your hair. And let me tell you about Gwen first before I bring her on so we can just get into this conversation. I'm just going to read her bio because me trying to talk about her on my own, I just cannot do it. Does not do any justice. So Gwen Jimmere is a gifted visionary on an unrelenting mission to challenge the narrative that the struggle is real when it comes to natural hair. And we all know that to be true if we have natural hair. As the CEO of Naturalicious, she leads a 7-figure empire. Y'all hear that? Black woman. Y'all see this young, beautiful black woman right here? She leads a 7-figure empire that creates high-performing, time-saving hair care products that have collectively saved over 70,000 women more than 1.2 million minutes on wash day. Y'all women, take a minute and sit back and think about that. Because that's one thing. When I had long locks, I hated doing my hair because of the time. So she's saving time for people. She cemented her place in history as the first, y'all listen to this, the first African-American woman to hold a patent for natural hair care products, which can be found around the world in over 1,200 retail stores, including Ulta, Whole Foods, and Sally Beauty. Wait a minute, I'm just going to stop right there. Can we all give Gwen some finger snaps for that? Because she's named the world's leading authority on textured hair care. She was named one of the 100 most influential African-Americans in the U.S., along with the likes of Beyonce, Serena Williams, and LeBron James. Wow. As well as a top 10 businesswoman in the U.S. of Crane's 40 Under 40. Y'all, give it up for Miss Gwen Jimmere. Gwen, thank you so much for joining us today.
Hey, thanks for having me.
You know,
I'm excited to be here with you, Crystal.
I can't tell you how excited I am to have you. I knew of some of that stuff in your bio, but reading it, you got me thinking like, oh, I need to really give my life. And I got you here talking about hair, but we can have you on about a lot of stuff from your bio. So before we jump all into it, will you please give the watchers some information about Naturalicious, like the history behind it and what made you come up with it and how you started, all that good stuff?
Yeah, I started Naturalicious like a lot of personal care and women-owned businesses start. So I started it purely out of necessity. It actually was never designed to be a business. It was really just something I created for myself. So I was pregnant with my son at the time, and I saw this movie that Chris Rock had come out with called Good Hair. And in that movie, he takes a soda can and he puts it into a tub of hair relaxer. And that soda can disintegrates within a few minutes. And it just freaks me out. I'm already emotional because I'm pregnant. So I see this and I'm thinking like, oh my gosh, if this metal can disintegrated, what's going to happen to my child, right? The human flesh of my child. So I got really scared and I decided that at that moment I was no longer going to relax my hair. Problem was that I was in my like mid to late 20s at that point and had been relaxing my hair since I was 9 in the 3rd grade. So the majority of my life, you know, doing my own hair revolved around going to the salon every 6 to 8 weeks, getting that relaxer. And that's what I knew how to do. I didn't know how to deal with like this curly, kinky hair texture. So I go to Whole Foods or the local health food store, and I'm looking for products that are natural and organic. And I find some stuff that are natural and organic, but they don't work very well on my hair. And so like my hair was healthy in the terms of the products that I was using, but like we want our cake and we want to eat it too, right? We don't want to have healthy hair and be looking like a bird's nest, right? So it's like we gotta have both. So I was like, okay, so I go home and I start trying to make my own stuff. And I start grabbing stuff out of the kitchen, you know, eggs, mayonnaise, olive oil, you know, whatever. And I start putting stuff together. And I eventually come up with like something that's working kind of decently. So eventually I call my mom, and my mom is a master herbalist. And so I call my mom and I say, hey, mama, what can I put with these all this other stuff I found in my pantry at my home in order to really make my hair kind of like just do what I wanted to do. And so she gave me a lot of different suggestions. And she didn't give me the suggestion that I landed upon, but it led me down the rabbit hole that took me there. And so I ended up coming across this ingredient called Rasool clay. And Rasool clay is only sourced in one place in the world, and that's in the Atlas Mountains of Morocco. So I saw it, and I was just like, this sounds interesting. I've never heard of this before. It wasn't a lot of information about it, but the little bit that I could find was really, really intriguing to me. So I sent off for it. It took forever to get here because it came all the way from Morocco. And when it got here, I started mixing it with what I had already created. I see you writing stuff down. What I had already created. And it was like, for the first time in my life, Crystal, even when I did have the relaxer, I never liked my hair. And for the first time in my life, it was literally like the gates of heaven just opened for me. And it was like, oh, like you've arrived, and like that euphoric feeling that I had was something I had never experienced before when it came to my hair. And I started to notice when I used this product I had created for myself, and subsequently I created other products to go along with it. So I had like a whole system for myself. It was just like, I just loved having my hands in my hair and the feeling of my hair growing out. And it was like, I've never experienced this before. And I started to realize how important hair is for your psyche, for your self-esteem, how you show up every day. A lot of times we think about beauty and it feels very superficial. It feels like it's not, of importance. And it is. It's really a foundational element for how you show up in the world every day. Like, it doesn't matter how great your day is going. If you have a bad hair day, everything is messed up. Yeah, nothing goes right, And so again, like that was what I was feeling like, oh my goodness, like I now have the ability to control how my hair looks. There's no more crossing my fingers and waving some sage around the house and hoping it comes out right. This is like, I was getting predictably perfect results every time. And so friends and family and things like that started asking me for it. And I was just giving it to them. And eventually I started charging them just to cover my own costs. Yeah. And fast forward about 18 months, I found myself going through a divorce. So I was leaving my husband, who was abusive. So I left him. My son at this point was like 1.5. And I got laid off from my 6-figure job at the exact same, like 30 days before my divorce was final. So I was the breadwinner of the household. So I now had $32 in the bank because I was paying for my side of the divorce and his, because he ain't really had no money. So I was paying for his side and my side. And now I'm also suddenly thrust into being a single mother. And I went through a whole lot of like just depression around that because I felt like I was a statistic. I was like, I didn't sign up for this. I did everything right. I graduated first in my class. I went to college. I got my master's. I got married. Then I had my child, and I had a career. It was like, this doesn't happen to me. Like, people like me don't get abused. People like me don't end up being a single Black mother, and so I went through a whole lot with that. And then eventually I kind of got my head in the right space, and I realized the day that I got let go from my job and was going through my divorce, it was like, this is a setback, but it's really a setup. Like, it can't be anything less than a setup, less than a setup, because God would not put me in this position if he didn't have better plans for me. I always feel like God won't take you to it if he's not going to prepare to lead you through it. And so that was the day that Naturalicious became a business. Like, the day I got laid off from my job with the $32 in the bank, single mother, was the same day it became an actual business. And I just started hustling and grinding. And all that was 7 years ago. And so, like you mentioned in the introduction that you said, we're now in 1,200 stores. We are sold on every continent. We are a 7-figure business, employ 14 people. And my son has a job now. He has a job at the company, and he's 9 now.
Wow, that's crazy. You went from $32 to 7 figures. That's in 7 years. That's dope. So
we hit 7 figures after the 5th year.
Well, excuse me. Yes, let me not detract from that. So, quick question. I have 2 questions about the story that you just told. So we're talking about habits, and that's one thing about hair care products. A lot of people, we'll all attest. If you're natural, you typically have a gang of products because you're trying to figure out what works for your hair, and our hair decides when it wants to act right and when it doesn't like a product anymore. So how did you find out about the Rasool clay, first of all? And then how long did it take for you to see the changes?
Well, it took, well, like I said, I was kind of just online researching different ingredients. I was really looking for something that was more unique. Because obviously, I can get olive oil from anywhere. I can get shea butter from anywhere. It was like, okay, so what's that one unique thing that no one else is really using that's going to make a huge difference for me? And so I started to learn a lot about clays. So there's a lot of different clays in the world. And the most popular ones is called bentonite clay. Bentonite clay is good, except bentonite clay, it removes everything. So let me kind of backtrack. The benefit of clays outside of, in comparison to normal shampoos, is that clays tend to infuse your hair with lots of nutrients and minerals that your hair won't get from normal shampoos. So for example, clays will give your hair potassium and calcium and magnesium and silica and all kinds of things that you are just not going to get in a bottle of Suave, and they just naturally occur in this clay. You can liquefy it so that it does what it turns into a shampoo. You can also use it as a face mask. There's so many beauty tips that you can do with clays. The problem, though, with bentonite clay is that while it does, all clays do a really good job of removing all the toxins and bad things from your hair. So when you start to use clays, you'll start to notice that your hair is actually, your curls may be more defined, your just everything works better. Your twist outs, your braid outs, your washing goes, everything just works better when using clays. But the problem for us who have naturally dry hair is that we need moisture, right? And so what bentonite clay does, it removes all the bad stuff, but it also removes all the good stuff. So it removes all the moisture, it removes all that hydration, that the little bit that we already have occurring naturally. Whereas Rasul clay, by contrast, it removes all the bad stuff, leaves all the good stuff, and then imparts more good stuff. And so I was just really, really intrigued by it. And I was so curious. Even now, it's not as popular of a clay as bentonite clay. And so a lot of people who use clays, they're often like, I don't like clays because it dries my hair out. But they don't realize that there's so many different types of clays, and they all have different, purposes.
Yeah, and that's what I was just thinking when you said clays. I would have never thought that a clay should go in my hair. Like when you said that, I'm like, in my head, everything that you just said about you said bentonite clay, is that I'm thinking that it's harsh, it's abrasive, it's going to strip from my hair what I want my hair to be. I thought it sounds like it's going to make your hair like a Brillo pad and unruly, and nobody wants that. So how long after you made this concoction did you say, okay, this is working?
So the very first time I used it, I noticed the difference, like day one. But with consistent use, obviously, I saw, even better results. The thing about hair that a lot of people don't realize is that, honestly, I'm always comparing hair to diet and fitness, which is right up your alley. So, people understand, like, okay, I can't go to the gym today of day one and expect to lose 10 pounds, right? But for some reason, we all think that we can abuse our hair, we cannot really wash it properly, we can be using all kind of direct heat on our hair and just be super bad to our hair, but we're supposed to go get this miracle product from a store, and at the first application it's supposed to just correct all that stuff. Like, it doesn't work like that. Right. It's the same thing with hair as it is with diet and exercise, And another analogy I always give people is that when it comes to working out, let's say you have two choices. Let's say you have 5 hours in a week, and let's say you have the option to go to the gym one time for 5 hours during that week, or you can go to the gym for 5 days for 1 hour apiece. Still the same 5 hours, right? But you broke it up differently. It's not always about how much product you're using on your hair at one time. It's about how consistent you are. So just like the analogy I gave you, you're going to get way better results from doing a little bit over time as opposed to a whole 5 hour workout at once, right?
And that makes sense.
Hair, the same thing.
Yeah, I say the same thing with my clients when we're working. I'm like, you don't want to skip more. Your body needs a chance to rest. But if you skip more than 2 days, you're basically resetting. So everything that you did prior to that, you have to start all the way over, because you let your body just go back to what it was doing before. And one of my favorite things to tell my boys, and they probably hate it by now, but I always tell them it's easier to keep up than to catch up. Yes. And that applies in so many different areas, because when you're trying to fix what you messed up, it just takes so much longer when you just could have kept a consistent routine and you have been much further along. So
true. It's the same thing.
I love how you talk about. So let me ask you, So let's talk about what are some of the things, because you mentioned how we are just not, and I say we collectively,
Sure.
we aren't doing the routine things that just should be happening, right? You know, like it's interesting. I want to hear you chime in on something. Before
Okay.
I even, let me put a pin in what I was going to ask you and jump on this one now before I forget.
Okay.
There are differing views on how often you should actually wash your hair. What say you?
You should be washing your hair every 7 to 10 days. You should not be going 2 weeks without washing your hair, a whole month without washing your hair. The differing views is that people think that water is drying. Water is not drying. Water is life. Just like a plant needs water to live, your hair needs water to thrive, your body needs water to thrive, right? Our bodies are made of water. Everything that we put on the inside of our body comes out in some sort of way. So when you start drinking more water, you have more glowing skin. Your hair is actually softer. So for people who have like very coarse hair, and they're like, how's my hair so coarse? One thing that you can do to immediately start to fix that is to start drinking more water consistently. So right now we're going through a challenge, in one of my clients are going through what we call the Repair Your Hair Challenge. And the very first day, before we even start doing hair, putting stuff on our hair and all that kind of stuff, the very first day, what I tell them to do is you have to start drinking 8 glasses of water every day. And at least, right? I mean, ideally half your body weight, but at least 8 cups of water, because most of them not even drinking none of it. So
That's true.
baby steps. And then 2, you have to start eating dark green leafy vegetables every day. Whether that comes in the form of a greens powder, spirulina, you can get fancy with, you can make some greens, you can make it taste good, but you have to do this every day because our hair requires iron. Dark leafy green vegetables have a lot of iron, and potassium and all that stuff, calcium as well. We need that for our hair to grow. Everything you put inside is going to have an effect on the outside. So when it comes to washing your hair, back to the water thing, if you are not washing your hair every 7 to 10 days, a couple things are going to happen. First of all, think about when you go to the salon. When you go to the salon and get your hair washed, they are not really washing your hair by itself. That shampoo, girl, is all in your scalp. So much so, it feels so good. You probably want to take a nap, right? They're in your scalp, and they're in your scalp for a reason. But when we get home, we oftentimes forget that, and we focus on our hair. The reason that she's in your scalp, cleansing your scalp so well, is because your hair cannot thrive and grow with clogged pores. Right? The purpose of washing your hair is really to clean out that scalp and to get that build up environmental things that just find its way into your scalp and into your hair, to get all that stuff out of your scalp so that your hair can actually grow. So if you feel like you're having slow growth, one of the reasons may be that you're not washing your hair often enough. Water is not drying. Water evaporates, which is what water is supposed to do. Good moisturizers combine water with other moisture retaining ingredients to have a lasting effect in your hair. So if you're not washing your hair regularly, you're going to find that your hair is going to be drier, and dryness leads to breakage, brittleness, split ends, some forms of shedding, all the things that we hate. It's slow growth. And if you feel like your hair is not growing, unless you have a scalp condition like alopecia or something like that, your hair is actually always growing. It's just that your hair is breaking as fast as it's growing. So you're not seeing the length retention. So the question really is not how do I grow my hair, because your hair is always growing. The question more is, how do I retain my length? And you retain your length first by drinking more water and by washing your hair more often.
Y'all, put it in the comments. How often do you wash your hair? How often do you wash your hair currently? And be honest about it. So I'll tell you this, like for me, I rinse my hair a lot. Like luckily, because I have short hair now, it's easier for me I call it my wrench. I wrench at least probably like 2 or 3 times a week. And because like you said, I noticed the difference just from me adding the water to it with no, agitation to my scalp, no products to remove or add anything. I noticed a huge difference just from me rinsing it. But sometimes I will wash it probably I would say I wash mine probably every 5 to 8 days. But because I work out so much, I hate the feel of the sweat in my scalp. So I know I have to cleanse it because the toxins are coming through. So it is a little different. But I know there have been discussions about how you shouldn't wash as much because of stripping your hair. You should co-wash instead. What do you think about co-wash?
Oh my God, don't even get me started on co-washing.
Sore spot. Yes. Come on, hit me with the co-wash. I'm not gonna lie, so I'll tell you this. And if you've ever co-washed, let me know in the comments. Let me know if you try to co-wash and if you still co-wash. But I will say this, I noticed that when I started trying to co-wash, I felt like it was clogging my pores. I didn't like it because I have one of the reasons why I'm natural. I've been natural now for 18 years, somewhere around there. Part of the reason because I have eczema and I'm, believe it or not, allergic to aloe, and it's hard to find stuff without aloe, and all the perms had aloe in it. So I'm very cautious about what I put in my head and in my hair. But I noticed that if I don't cleanse, that's how I know when it's time for me to wash and not just rinse. Because when I was trying to co-wash, I would rinse and then I would put my conditioner in like they say to do. And I noticed that my scalp would be sensitive. It was like I was getting oil deposits or something in my scalp. And I was like, yeah, I'm not doing that anymore. So tell me what's up with co-wash.
So, okay. I'm so glad you brought this up. Okay. Because this is one of the things that also in my Repair Your Hair Challenge class, one of the things that we talk about one of the days is on repairing bad habits. And so co-washing is one of the bad habits we talk about.
And that's what we're here for. Let's hit us with the good habits. Talk about the bad and hit us with the good.
All right. So co-washing, let's talk about the history of co-washing.
Okay.
People started co-wash. First of all, co-washing means to wash with conditioner.
Right.
So the co means conditioner for those who are watching who are like, what does that mean, right? Or also a lot of times in this industry, in this like natural hair space, whether you're like a maker like myself or if you're a consumer, you hear certain terms and a lot of times we just go with it, right? Like, so I'm co-washing. So people don't really even know what they're doing, right?
Yeah, okay, so co-washing, if you knew what co-washing was. Let us know in the comments if you even knew what co-washing was.
So co-washing literally means to wash your hair with conditioner in lieu of shampoo. And the reason that people were doing this, it was out of necessity at the time. Now think back 10, 15 years. We've been in this whole, like, I'm gonna call it the new natural hair wave for, let's say 10 years, right? But let's think back a little bit past that, like 10 years to 15 years ago. If you were looking for a natural hair product, you could not go to Target, you could not go to Rite Aid, you could not go to Neiman Marcus, you could not go anywhere.
To that.
Yeah, you had to go to the hood, you had to go to like somebody's like back house, warehouse kind of place and find possibly Carol's Daughter, maybe Shea Moisture. And Shea Moisture then was not what Shea Moisture is now. Shea Moisture came in this real plain looking bottle. It was like a brand new brand and it wasn't all fancy and glam like it is now. It was real basic, right? And I remember the first time I ever even saw Shea Moisture at the time was at like one of those like African-American like outdoor festivals. Like that's where you had to get this kind of stuff from, right? And so because it was so difficult to find products that were made and truly designed for Black hair, not just targeted to Black hair, but actually made for Black hair, people found themselves needing to co-wash. So the reason for that was that we started to become more acutely aware of ingredients and how they affected our hair. So we started to get real clear that, okay, sulfates in hair care products, they create suds, but they also strip our hair of its natural moisture. As naturally curly girls or kinky girls or coily girls, we don't have very much moisture to begin with. And so our hair, although it looks like it's strong and it can take a whole lot of stuff to it, it's actually one of the most fragile hair types in the world. It breaks very, very easily. It needs moisture in order to thrive. And if it doesn't get moisture, it will break, it will split at the ends, it will shed, it will do all the things we don't want it to, right? And so we started to understand like sulfates were a big problem for us. One of the reasons that we were having a hard time retaining length was because sulfates were stripping the ingredients which create suds in hair care products are the same suds that you can find in Tide laundry detergent. Same ingredient that you can find in Dawn dish soap. So I always tell people, if you wouldn't wash your hair with Tide, don't wash your hair with sulfates, right?
Whoa, Paul, y'all, if you are shocked like I am right now, give me some shock emojis, some reactions, because I think I passed out. Like I just clutched my pearls. I wish I wore my pearls today so I could clutch them. If you clutching your pearls, let us know. Oh my.
Yeah. So the same stuff first few ingredients that are in those detergents that you use for your dishes or for your clothes are in product, a lot of products that have sulfates in them. Okay, so sulfates literally strip your hair of the little bit of moisture we have, leaving you with dry, brittle hair. So what people started doing is they started saying, okay, I'm going to wash with conditioner, because it was hard to find products made for us, and conditioner did not strip our hair, right?
Right.
Here's the problem. Conditioners are not, okay, shampoos, whether they have sulfates or not, they do a good job of cleaning our hair.
Mm-hmm.
Products with sulfates strip our hair also, but they're designed to clean, right? Conditioners are not designed to clean your hair. And remember, I just said that the goal is to get your scalp clean. If your scalp's not clean, your hair can't thrive, it can't grow like it should. So conditioners, think about conditioners like lotion, right? Yeah. So if you're ashy, you put on lotion, your skin is possibly shiny, depending on the type of lotion you're using, but it's also smooth. It doesn't feel rough anymore. That's the same thing as conditioners do. When you wash your hair with a shampoo, oftentimes it feels rough. You put the conditioner on, it smooths it down, it feels good again, right?
Right.
That's all it does. That's what it's supposed to do. It's not supposed to clean. It's supposed to make things smooth. So you're not even cleaning your hair when you're using conditioner as a wash. And back then, that was kind of like we did it because we had to. Nowadays, you don't got to do that. There's plenty of products, Naturalicious and other brands, that have products that are sulfate free. There's no need to wash your hair with conditioner. If you would not wash your hair with lotion, or if you wouldn't take a shower with lotion, then you shouldn't be using conditioner to wash your hair.
That was doggone great, because that makes so much sense. Because I tell you, that's the thing I love about conditioner, and that's the truth. When I wash my hair, I can tell how, I can tell that it's been washed. But then when you put that conditioner on, you're like, oh, it's all silky clean. That's why my doggone scalp was acting a fool, because I'm basically just moisturizing it. I'm just adding more and clogging the doggone pore.
Exactly. And that's another bad habit that we should talk about too, is that conditioners are not moisturizers. So that's another big misconception. So a lot of times I see people online, they're always like, a lot of times people are using leave-in conditioner and expecting it to provide their hair with moisture. And they're like, I'm moisturizing my hair with this leave-in conditioner every day, twice a day sometimes, and my hair is so dry. I don't understand why my hair is not retaining moisture. And the reason is that conditioners are not moisturizers. That's not what they're there for. So a lot of times people are using products in the wrong, they're using products that are fine to use, but they're using them for the wrong purpose and expecting a result that they're not designed to provide. So just like people would wash their hair with conditioner and expect their hair to be clean, but it wouldn't, because it's not meant to clean, right? Conditioners, all conditioners do is just what we talked about. They work on the outside of the hair shaft to smooth the hair follicle down, help your hair reflect light, make it shiny, all that kind of stuff. That's it. It does nothing to penetrate the hair strand, to actually go inside the hair and moisturize from the inside out. If your hair feels dry to you, that means it's already been dry on the inside for some time, right? And so moisturizers, by contrast, actually penetrate the hair strand, go inside the hair shaft, and work their way out so that your hair is moisturized from the inside out. So you need actually both conditioners and moisturizers. One is not a substitute for the other one. And that is another bad habit that people have to change if you expect to retain your length.
Y'all, are y'all taking notes? Let me know, because I'm over here taking notes, and I don't even have a lot of hair. And that's another misconception. People think that when you're natural and then when it's short, that you don't have to use product, that you don't have to worry about. Do you still get that as the owner of a hair care company? Do people still say, well, your hair is natural, so you don't have to do that much to it? I'm like y'all, if you don't know, we probably do more to our hair because it's in a natural state than in the processed state. But I am over here.
I mean, you still want your curls to be defined regardless of how long it is, and so if you're not getting defined curls and you have short hair or long hair, or medium hair, the thing that you need to, if you're using if you're using a leave-in conditioner and it's not giving you that, go look for a moisturizer. We have step 2 in our line, which is the Moisture Infusion Styling Cream. That is our moisturizer. But there's other brands that have moisturizers as well. So you want to make sure the label actually says moisturizer, not just conditioner.
So I know I only have you for about 5 more minutes. So, So if you can, really quickly, give us the list of the must-haves as far as taking care of our hair, creating those healthy routines to make sure that our hair is not growing quicker, but that we're retaining the length and that we're keeping our hair healthy and moisturized and all of that good stuff.
Okay. So think about, because before I get into this,
okay,
I want to make sure that people are clear that regardless of if you have natural hair or not, because I hear a lot of people say, oh, natural hair, too much work, I'm just going to get a relaxer. Whatever kind of hair you got, there's work involved, okay? You are responsible for some things. Just like diet and exercise is always my go-to analogy. You can't, it's all about consistency, right? You can't go to the gym for a week and then stop and be like, oh, I didn't get fit. Well, you stopped after a week, like, what do you expect? But when I give that analogy, people always, light bulb goes off, they immediately get it. When we talk about hair, it's like, this product didn't work for me, this product didn't work for me, this product didn't work for me. Well, the common denominator is you, right? So if like, and I'm just being honest. If all
she's
these
snatching
things
edges, y'all. Our edges already having issues, and she's snatching them.
If all these things don't work, there's something that you need to change, because all these companies ain't staying in business and their product's not working, okay? So we have to figure out what it is that you're doing or not doing that is causing the problem. So, and I think that's so important for people to understand, because once you realize that you have to put in some effort here, then it changes the whole game for you, right? You're not just wasting money buying product after product after product, getting subpar results and being frustrated and upset. You're like, okay, let me make some adjustments here, right? Okay, so the first thing to know is that 50% of how your hair looks and performs has to do everything with you. Has to do with how well or not so well you've been caring for your hair in the last 3 to 6 months. So if you haven't been doing your part in the past 3 to 6 months, that's literally half of how your hair is going to look. So that's a huge chunk of it, okay? The other 25% is the products that you're using. So the ingredients found in those products. You want to make sure you're using healthy ingredients, and I'll run through those in a moment. And then the last 25% is your technique. So part of the women who go through the challenge, my Repair Your Hair Challenge, one of the things that we focus on a lot is the technique. Because think about it, you can have you can have all the best products in the world. You can be caring for your hair, but if you do a twist out and you don't get them ends curled just right, your hair gonna be looking raggedy, right? So that is such a huge part as well. So it's about the technique as well. So let's talk about the things that the first 50%, the things you should be doing all the time, okay?
Okay.
Once a month, you should be doing a diluted apple cider vinegar rinse on your hair. This is a clarifying treatment. Our hair, because it has so much texture to it, it has coils and curls and hoops and hurdles and things like that. It's very easy for things to get embedded into the fibers of our hair. And no matter what you use to wash it out, they just don't come out. You ever had like a shirt that has a stain on it? And you're like, I don't know how it got out, and you're scrubbing it with shower and you're doing everything you can, but that stain will just not come out?
Yes, I still have one right now. I don't know what happened. I think it was it's one of my gym shirts. I think the rust from the weight plate. It will not come out.
It won't come out.
Diluted. How diluted? Is it 2 to 1?
Yep, I'll tell you in just a minute. Okay. It gets that stain gets embedded in the fiber of that shirt. And so it's the same thing with your hair. Like a lot of times these things, environmental things, like we can't control the stuff that's flying around in the air, products that we're using over time. If you've tried tons and tons of products and nothing is working, I'm willing to bet you need a diluted apple cider vinegar rinse. So the ratio is 1 part apple cider vinegar to 6 parts of water.
Oh.
So you want to dilute this heavily because apple cider vinegar is acidic, whereas our hair is alkaline. So if you don't dilute it, you could potentially mess up the pH balance of your hair, and it could be very brittle. So you don't want to do that. Just make sure it's diluted, heavily diluted, like I said, and you'll be good to go. Now, a lot of people then ask me, well, what like measurement? Whatever measurement you use is what you're going to stick with. So whether it's 1 cup of apple cider vinegar to 6 cups of water. If it's 1/2 cup of apple cider vinegar, you're going to use 6 half cups of water.
Right.
You follow me?
Yeah. So how do we use it? Like, what do we do? Do we just sit on our hair with a shower cap, or, like?
No. So you're going to first of all, you should be washing your hair every 7 to 10 days.
Right.
So you never do a treatment on any hair that is not freshly cleaned. You want to always start on a fresh scalp. So you're going to wash your hair first, and then you're going to do the apple cider vinegar rinse. So you make up this mixture. I make it fresh. Some people, make it in advance, but I prefer to do it fresh. You make it up, and then after your hair is washed, while your hair is still wet, you get back in the shower, and you literally are pouring the jar or the cup or whatever you're using that has contained the mixture. You're literally pouring it on your edges and having your hair head like back so that it runs down. And you're gonna do that all over your hair. So I do it in the front, I do it on the sides, and I flip my hair over and I do it in the back. So it's going to get all that buildup and environmental things that we can't see and feel, it's going to get the scalp and it's going to get the hair. All right, so that's the first thing you want to do. This is once a month. Don't do this no more than once a month.
Okay.
Okay, because again, doing it too frequently can be bad news, right? The second thing you want to do once a month, every month, is a protein treatment. Now, let me backtrack to the apple cider vinegar thing first. There are other clarifying treatments on the market. However, there is nothing that is better than apple cider vinegar. It's cheaper anyway, and it's more efficient. So I suggest you get that and don't waste your money on these other clarifying treatments.
Go to the pantry, y'all. Listen to grandma and go to pantry. Grandma told you that a long time ago. Big Ma already told you that.
Yes. All right, protein treatment, once a month, no more than once a month. Protein treatment strengthens your hair. Your hair needs protein to resist breakage, retain length, all the stuff that we want, right? I suggest doing it with an egg yolk. If you have naturally dry hair, do not do this with an egg white, and do not do it with the whole egg. Egg whites remove moisture. Egg yolks add moisture. We need moisture. You're going to use a yolk. If you have a friend who has very straight hair, she would use the white. But you're going to use the yolk. Okay? I'm assuming the majority of your customers, your clients look like us.
Yes.
Okay. All right. So you want to use the egg yolk. This can be a little messy if you use too much. So most people will say, well, how many yolks do I need? For my hair, and when my hair is stretched, it comes like a little bit above my bra strap when it's stretched out. I use 3 egg yolks for my hair. Crystal, you could probably use 1. So, anybody else who's watching, you can kind of get a comparison for what you need based upon that.
Okay.
Egg yolks are the best protein treatments. It is literally pretty much all protein. All right. You're putting straight up protein on your hair. You're going to do this once a month. Ideally, you should wash your hair first, do the apple cider vinegar rinse, and then do the protein treatment all at the same time. All right. You would then put the egg on your hair. You're going to, while your hair is still wet, you're going to apply the egg all over your hair, put a plastic shower cap on, and chill out for about 20 minutes. Just let it do its thing. After that's over, take the shower cap off and rinse your hair. Here's a tip. Rinse your hair with cold water, because otherwise you're going to fry the eggs on your head. Okay? You don't want to do that. You will have scrambled eggs on your head. I've done it. I can speak firsthand. It doesn't harm your hair to have the scrambled eggs, but it's not fun. It's not pretty. So you probably don't want to do that. So rinse your hair with the coldest water you can take so that you can get the egg out. All right. So that's that. That's what you should be doing monthly. Once a week, you should be washing your hair, like I mentioned, every 7 to 10 days. And then you should also be doing a deep conditioning treatment and a hot oil treatment once a week. So these are the 3 treatments I always tell people to do. Apple cider vinegar rinse, protein treatment, deep conditioning, and hot oil treatment.
Yes.
That's what you should be doing. Those are that's the basis for really setting your hair up for greatness. So that you can, because again, you can have great products, but if your hair isn't healthy already, then it's going to be really, really hard for you to get it to look exactly the way that you want, especially if you're trying to do something like a wash and go, because that's going to be totally dependent on your curl pattern and your curl pattern and your texture. And a lot of people think that, oh, if I have 4C hair, I'm doomed to have, no curl definition. That's not true. You just need to condition it more. You need to moisturize it more, that sort of thing. One more thing I would like to give you all is that you should be moisturizing daily, every day. And sometimes people shy away from this because they're like, oh, it's too much work. I don't have time. Listen, what do you want? Do you want to complain about your hair all the time? Do you want to be stiff and dry? Or do you want to have movement? Do you want to, when you look in the mirror, do you want to see something that you like? It's really all about our priorities. But honestly, I moisturize my hair every single night. And it takes me all of 3 minutes. It doesn't take me a long time. So it doesn't have to be a long, arduous, drawn out process.
Yeah, I noticed that because my hair is now short, sometimes I would tell myself like, oh, you don't have to do that every day. But then I noticed the difference. And I was like, girl, stop playing. Like you said, it does not take long at all. Yeah. I prefer to do it during the day, like in the morning and start my day. But yeah, and it's not even a lot that you have to use. Just put in the doggone effort. Gwen, you have just been, oh my gosh. If you have enjoyed what Gwen said, drop down your biggest takeaway, what you are getting from this, because I know for me, I never thought to do the ACV rinse. Like I've done the egg treatment before, I've done the protein treatment, but I never thought to do the ACV rinse. So that's my biggest
It's a game
takeaway.
changer.
I think what I'm going to do is to create my routine, to create my habit, my healthy habit, is to do it because picking a day of the month can be hard because you never know what day of the week it's going to fall on. But that's going because I like Sundays as my like pamper day. So the first Sunday of each month, that'll be my ACV protein treatment.
I love it.
Thank you.
One of the things in my group that they get when they're part of the challenge is they get a tracker, and so it kind of helps them kind of stay on track. So one of the tracker will say, okay, did I do my protein treatment today? So they can actually go back and see when's the last time that they did it, so that they don't have to try and remember in their head. So that's another good thing. You can create a tracker for yourself, or just write it on the calendar so you can keep track of it.
Yeah, and Gwen has mentioned it's called Repair My Hair Challenge.
Repair Your Hair Challenge.
Repair Your Hair Challenge. So I will put it in the link, in the comments. She has the link so you all can sign up for the next challenge that's coming up. Get on the waiting list. Get your hair together. As you all heard, Gwen knows what she's talking about. She just schooled the mess out of me. Let me know in the comments if she schooled the mess out of you, because I'm sure that she did. So Gwen, I thank you so much. I wish I could keep you long, but I know you have to go. I appreciate you taking time out to talk with me and everybody who's listening and watching. You are amazing. Let's give it up for Gwen, the CEO of Naturalicious. Man, this is
awesome to be here.
Amazing. Thank you so much, and I hope you have a fantastic day now.
Thank you. I'm so excited to talk to your community. I'm in the community, so I see all the love and how much engagement there is, and just the beautiful women and guys who are in there. So thank you for serving us the way that you do, Crystal.
And I will say this, y'all. So Gwen, tell us about the Naturalicious Nation, because your nation is killer. And just even seeing the transformation pictures and the support even there, I've watched the women when they talk about the issues that they've gone through, and they post the pictures and they get that encouragement, and then they do all of this stuff that you talked about, and then they come back and post the pictures like, whoa, like it's crazy. Yeah. How do they get into the Naturalicious Nation?
So you can search for Naturalicious Nation on Facebook, and you have to request entry in. So as long as you're not a troll, we'll let you in. And you're not going to be spam in the group, we'll let you in. But it's really a community of women who, most of them are OG Naturalicious customers. Some of them are brand new to the brand. Some of them have heard about it and then wanted to get more details about it. So it's it runs a wide gamut of people who are in the group. But one thing that I'm really focused on is education, as you can probably tell. Like, that's really a passion point for me, because I feel very strongly that, again, we talked about 10 years ago when it comes to natural hair, we didn't have the product availability like we do now. And we didn't know what to do with our hair then, right? And then even now, we have every store in the world has products, or at least in America, has products available for us, and we still don't know what to do with our hair. So the problem isn't hair care products or lack of hair care products. The problem is lack of education. Yeah. And so if people are properly educated and know what to do and get true information that's not just rooted in like what works for me, but actually based in science and how our hair works, then it actually changes the whole trajectory for women of color and how we view ourselves. I always feel like we are always trying to, we're never, marked as the standard of beauty. We are always having to fix ourselves, air quotes, in order to be beautiful. So, in the 80s, it was like, get the relaxers and look more European. And then we kind of ran away from that, towards the 2010s. Then, we were always traditionally made fun of for our shapes and our butts. And then now it's like a whole thing and people pay for it. Now, I don't think we a lot of times realize that we literally are the standard. Like, we are what everyone else wants to be. They get injections to look like us. They get curly perms and things like that to look like us. I mean, they do. And so it bothers me so much when I see my sisters complaining about, saying, I hate my hair, I hate how I look, I hate this about myself. And so my thing is like, let me educate you so that you have the knowledge and you actually literally have the power now to wake up in the morning and look at yourself and see something that you just feel like, I woke up like this and I'm a boss, I look gorgeous, I'm fine, I'm just, I want you to see yourself like that, because other people see us like that, but we don't get the credit for it, and that is really why I'm so passionate about education and empowering women to feel their very, very best. Because again, it's the foundational element for how you show up in the world every day.
That's
So
right.
Naturalicious Nation is my main private group. It is private, so we get real intimate in there sometimes,
Yeah.
and so
There
you don't
you
have to worry about everybody else seeing your stuff.
go.
But the Repair Your Hair Challenge is kind of like the elevated version of that. And so I'm in there with them every single day, live video at 4 o'clock every day. We're doing something. We're literally washing it's like 200 women on Zoom, all washing our hair in the shower at the same time. It's so nuts. It's crazy. But yeah, I love it, and I'm so glad that you're in the group. But
I love it.
I love all of them.
And I can attest to everything that you're saying, because when I first joined, and you know what, y'all, I'll drop the link. I'll tag the group inside of the comments, so you don't even have to go look for it. I'll hook you up with that. But I did notice that, I joined it thinking it was just about getting hair care tips, but the support is crazy. Like, people come in and say, like, people going through postpartum and having that just disconnection from themselves and letting go of their hair and all of that, and then an encouragement and that support, and then they get off the couch and they go get in the shower, and it's beautiful. It's beautiful.
Yeah. Well, thank you. And you should give yourself props too, because you have a very similar vibe in your group. So yeah, you do a really great job of curating that. And it's all testament to who the leader is.
I was about to say, I think that's the difference. We both have a passion for it, so it's exciting and it is fun, and it is about educating. Our stories are similar in a sense, where I got into this because I was just making workouts for people and making meal plans. I didn't plan this to be a business at all.
Yeah.
It just turned into a passion for me. So, but I know I have to let you go, so I will not hold you any longer, Madam. Thank you so much. Everybody, please give it up again for Gwen Jimmere, the CEO of Naturalicious. Just amazing woman, full of knowledge and education and passion about our hair and how it is important. Like I said, when it is important, it's not about being shallow. It makes up who we are. So you all make sure that you click the link to get on the waiting list for the next challenge and join the group. Get some support and extra information and knowledge about taking care of our hair and creating those healthy habits to make sure our hair is fly, y'all. So, all right, you all have a fantastic day. Gwen, thank you so much. And I will talk to you all soon. We'll be right back here tomorrow. All right, y'all. Have a good one.
Bye.